Hi there, it's Sherry, and welcome to my YouTube channel. If you are new to my channel, this is my grief journey. I have several videos up, all of them called My Grief Journey. The first one, My Grief Journey #1. I would invite you to go back and look at that. That one not only tells my story, where it all started, but also it how do I say this? I also give I say things in there that have helped me, things that have not helped me, things like that. But that's where it all started. That's why I say, I would invite you to go back and look at that one. I've started making these videos as a way to help me heal, and it if it can help anybody else, I that makes me feel good. But I definitely did it as something to help me heal. And this this is my cat Snowball, and you see that behind me is Tiger. But this one here always makes an appearance in all my videos. She always makes her presence known. Anyway, if you're somebody that's been following me, welcome back. I just wanted to point out the last video I made. I had told you I was working in the kitchen, putting in my new countertops, and I was having trouble, and I was saying I didn't know if I could get the old countertop off, and well, I did. I got the old countertop off before I got my grandson. So when he came over, he helped me put the new countertops on. And so I now have 2 new countertops, and they look very, very pretty. Like I said, when I get it all done, I'm going to show it to you. But there is one thing that I wanted to show you, just because I just was so amazed. When I was going to do this countertop, I pulled my stove out, and when I did, I'm sorry, I feel like something's, I don't know. Anyway, sorry about that. I felt like something was on my lip. But I pulled the stove out. When I pulled it out, I just immediately was like, oh, I want a new stove. I want a new stove. That is going to be part of my whole remodel thing. I'm going to get a new stove and a new above microwave, but I'm not just yet. I'm doing all this in pieces, and I'm doing it as I can afford to do it. And the stove is like the last part of the puzzle. So it was like I don't want to do it now. But, we put it back and everything. But I really, really, really wanted to clean it up really good. It's a white stove. And there was parts that just really needed to be cleaned. And I only bring this up because I happened to make a trip today. I went to the Dollar Tree. I go to the Dollar Tree all the time. I like the Dollar Tree. And while I was there, I started looking at some of their cleaning stuff. And I came across this, and I'm going to show it to you. It's called a multi-purpose cleaning paste, and it's in it's pink label, and just a small little. It's only 7 ounces, but this was like $1.50. I'm telling you, this is some of the best stuff ever. I mean, ever. I think I scared my cat, but because I have an electric stove, and you know how an electric stove, once you take all the burners off, you got the drip pans, and I took those off and got them soaking and whatnot. But you know how you can lift that up and clean there. Well, there was some dried on stuff there. And I took this stuff right here, and I just put a blob of it over any place that, had like dried on stuff. I put that on there, and I left that for just a little while. And while that was doing that, I was doing something else. I went back to that, and I had a scrubby, a brush that was, I mean, it wasn't a brush, it was kind of like a sponge on one side and the scrubby stuff on the other. Anyway, I don't know what they're called, but I went to wipe it, and that thing just came clean. I mean, it just was like, oh boy, this is wonderful. And then there's other parts of the stove that I had trouble cleaning in the past, and it just wiped clean. So, $1.50 at the Dollar Tree. It works good. Okay, it works good. And so I was very happy with that. And I'll promote something that I think is good. So there you go. Anyway, I just wanted to point that out. But as far as what I'm doing, the countertops are in. I painted a little bit last night. I've got more painting to do. My cabinets are gray, and I touched them up last night. I touched some of those I touched up, and my walls are blue. But I also did backsplash last night, and I still got more backsplash to do. Basically, the backsplash I ran out. I ran out of it, so I had to get some more of that today to finish it up. But anyway, I wanted to jump on here mainly and let everybody know where I am on that, because the last video I was kind of down because I couldn't get it done, I was having trouble. But anyway, that part is okay. Now, that being said, that's my kitchen part. But that being said, I did have some difficult times grief-wise during all this. I had my grandson come over to help me. Again, here she comes. Well, God love him. He's a good boy. He's 14 years old, and he means well. But he did say a couple things to me that just really, they really upset me, but he didn't know they upset me. He told me that he thinks I need to move on. And I didn't really want to get into that with him because he's 14 years old. He doesn't understand the depth of grief. He doesn't understand that, that I'll be grieving forever. It won't go away. It will change as time goes on. Yes, it will. And the other thing he doesn't understand, the love never dies. The love is still there. That's why I still grieve. But grief to him, in his mind, grief means I'm crying all the time. And that's not what grief means. Yes, I cry. I definitely do. But grief also, in my mind, I heard somebody say this and I liked it. Grief is just love with nowhere to go. But when he said move on, I don't like the term move on. I do not like the term move on. Move on. When you move on, it's like you're just leaving the past behind you and, just not even thinking about them, forgetting about them, whatever. And that's why I don't like move on. Move forward does mean something different to me. Move forward means you are moving forward, but you're moving forward with your past behind, I'm not saying it right. You're moving forward, learning new things, doing new things. You're moving your life forward, but you're not forgetting your past. You're not forgetting what got you to that point. And I read two definitions on them, and they explained it so much better than I just did. So Google it. Just Google moving on versus moving forward, and you will see the difference as well. But anyway, like I said, he's a 14-year-old boy, and it also made me wonder, who has he heard say that I need to move on? Somebody might have said that. He might have heard that, but he doesn't know that it hurt my feelings, but it did. It hurt my feelings, and it kind of put me I've been down most of the day, just thinking about it, he also made a comment that he didn't think that I should have as many pictures in my house of my husband as I do. And I just ignored that too. I just told him, it helps me to see his pictures. And it's not, it's my house. I'll have as many pictures of him up as I want. But, I've wondered if he said that thinking that seeing all his pictures might hurt me, or if it hurts him. I don't know. But more than anything, I think he's not wanting me to hurt. And so that's why he's saying I need to move on. And it's not that easy. It's just not that easy to just, and as time goes on, because, whoa, get down. Sorry, my cat was acting silly. Anyway, it's so weird because it won't be, the 20th will be 18 months. And it seems like the longer it goes, the harder it gets. And early on, at the beginning, I was thinking just the opposite. I was thinking as time goes on, it'll get easier. And it gets harder. It gets harder. And I'm sorry for anybody who's watching this and heard me say that, who's very new into it, and heard me say it gets harder as time. That's my experience. That doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be yours, okay? But I can tell you, absolutely 100%, grief is a journey and it never ends. It doesn't end. For anybody who tells you that you got to go through the stages, and once you get to the end of the stage, then you're done. You're done with grief. That is not true. That is not true. Grief does not have a time limit. Grief doesn't have a time limit. I can't imagine ever, I can't imagine ever not remembering my life with my husband. That was my life. I spent 36 years with him, and it's very hard now. Today, like I said, everything that my grandson said started me on a bad road today, and I've been trying to not let it. I've been doing a lot of stuff today. I've been doing a lot of cleaning and just doing things I need to do. Keeping busy. I've been very busy, but in the back of my mind, things are there, and one thing that's in the back of my mind, and I mentioned this in another video. Well, first let me tell you what I'm just feeling really lonely. The loneliness is really getting me. It's really getting me. And in another video I made the other day, I made a video about going to my grandson's birthday. I'm sorry, my cat just got right in the middle. But I made a video about going to my grandson's birthday. And I said how I felt so alone. And it really bothered me. somebody commented, and this has been, I don't know, I'd have to go back and look. I think I made like 37, 38 videos. I don't know. And I don't get a lot of comments, which I welcome comments. I really do. But I don't get a whole lot. And I never have gotten a negative one. I got my first one. And it said, why did you go to his birthday party if you knew you didn't want to be there? Which I never said I didn't want to be there. I said I felt lonely once I was there. But then the other thing it said is, and why do you keep going on about being lonely? You have a cat. And I started to respond, and in fact, I think I did. I think I responded, posted it, and then like within a couple minutes, I changed. I said, you know what? I'm not playing this game. I'm not going to sit there and go back and forth. First of all, the person sounded very young. He sounded, I don't know if it was man, woman, I don't know. Sounded like a kid. But what I did, instead of arguing back and forth about my feelings and all this, I blocked them. I don't need the negativity. I don't need it. So, if all you're going to do is say something negative about my videos, I can handle, if there's a comment, I can handle a comment, that doesn't necessarily agree with me or something like that. But when he was, I don't know, something about when he said that about, why are you always saying you're lonely and you have a cat? And, my first thought is, you've never lost anybody in your life, But instead of getting into all that, I just blocked him because I could tell he wanted to just argue about my feelings. And so, anyway, that's the way I handled it. But anybody that's grieving, anybody, I don't care what the situation, a spouse, a sibling, a child, whatever, anybody who's grieving knows that having a cat is not going to replace that person. And I mean, yes, it's great to have animals, but it doesn't take away the loneliness. And I have been feeling incredibly lonely now. I've already gone through that whole thing once, and I'm really getting lonely right now. But I'm alone. I'm alone. I'm at home all the time by myself. Nobody ever comes over, and the phone rings I have, my best friend calls me, but nobody ever comes over. I don't talk to my stepsons hardly at all. I used to talk to one of them like every day, but now we work kind of opposite hours, so we don't talk anymore hardly. My grandkids are growing up. My grandson, my oldest is 14. Then I've got, the next one's going to be 13 in a few months. And then the last two will be 12. But they're growing up. It's not fun to go to grandma's anymore. They used to love hanging out with me and doing things with. I'm not that fun anymore. It's not fun anymore. They're, especially the oldest ones, they're into their teenage years. They want to hang out with their friends, and I understand that. But I'm still lonely. Okay, I'm just still lonely. I get lonely. And this video's way longer than I wanted it to be, and I haven't even said any of my things so let me back up just a minute. I just said I get lonely. But my favorite thing to say, it's okay to not be okay. So it's okay to have bad days. And it's not been a horrible day, but it hasn't been the greatest. It's just, and it's okay. It's okay. And like I have said this, grief is a journey that never ends. And it does change as time goes on, it changes, but it does not end. And the love never dies. And the love never dies, and that is why grief goes on. Because the love doesn't die. Grief is just love. It's just love with nowhere to go. So, through all that, and I'm so sorry this video's gotten way longer than I wanted it to be. But I do want to say, everybody, count your blessings. Count your blessings when you look around and realize everything that you have. It's easy to think about what you've lost, but try to think about count your blessings. Just count your blessings. I promise you will see them. You will see what all that you are blessed with. And try to think of something positive today, something positive that you have done today, or something positive that happened today. And so I just always want to throw that in there. I try to make these as positive as I can. So everybody have a very, very blessed day. And I will talk to you in a couple days. Bye-bye.